Mars image of a dead humanoid extraterrestrial alien crushed under a slab on Mars? Question mark? And this is the image right here. You couldn't even see his eyes on his head at the 7 o'clock position. Very strange looking thing. It looks like he was down by a slab. And this is just one more image that we get from Mars. Once in a while we get something that looks like pareidolia. Lezu came out of his house, looked at the blue sky. It was a nice sunny day, cloudless, and with good temperature. The news with the war being waged in the other hemisphere was not encouraging at all. He pushed those unpleasant images from his mind. There was nothing he could do from his position after all. His age didn't allow it either. He proceeded to his garden, cut some vegetables to prepare food for his wife, his life partner, Seldra. He walked over to the small fence, a strange feeling, dark. It began to take hold of him. He looked beyond, far away, at the tall rectangular buildings of the city. He had worked there before when he was young for the erection of one of them. He could still see it from his estate. For some strange reason, he felt his heart beat faster. He had no health problems, and beyond the horizon, he began to see strange black clouds billowing in the sky. They were constantly growing. He felt something strange coming up behind him. He turned, and it was his wife, Seldra. He saw her coming out of the house in a panic, as if she'd seen something very bad. Looked up. Beyond her, the sky began to darken very quickly. And running out to her, called her to protect her, but suddenly he felt a very strong push from behind, which, however, did not knock him, but lifted him up into the air. All he managed to see within a tenth of a second was his stone house made of cut boulders, suddenly disintegrating and being scattered by a very strong shock wave, while out of the corner of his eye he also saw Seldra flying away and twirling. He himself felt himself drifting in a hot transparent cloud that made him lose consciousness as he traveled on the fora, and the momentum that pushed him until it threw him, tossed him down, whereupon he felt nothing ever again, at least not as he was while he was living as an inhabitant of the planet Mars. Hundreds of thousands of years later, a strange robotic machine hovered a few kilometers away from the event. Everything around was like a red wasteland. The machine, called Mars Curiosity Rover, was constantly taking pictures and sending its images back to Earth. This was one of them, of course. There was something in an image that was impossible not to evoke in the mind, because it was not only this object itself, but also the surrounding environment in which it was found. It's one of those findings that haunts your mind. And while at first glance you say that you want to see it happening, with a second you negate it. But with the third you think about it again. How could this have happened? What could have happened to cause this? That's how the human mind works sometimes. This is what Kingsley O'Connor, who worked in image management for the Curiosity mission, also thought. Because what Curiosity photographed was something that looked like the body of a humanoid. The head, possibly the eyes and the elements of the face, part of the body, an arm, a leg can be seen. It could possibly be the fossilized remain, the body of an alien. It reminds us of what we see in Pompeii, doesn't it, a little bit? Or quite simply a statue that is no longer standing, flattened by a very well-angled surface. This is what we saw in the zoom photo. Overwhelmed alien on Mars? This mysterious find, the supposed crushed alien or a fallen statue, is located under such a slab, as he could see in the enlarged photo. Kingsley zoomed out on the image again to see the wider area again. What he could easily observe all around were shattered surfaces, which do not match the surrounding environment at all, as most of them are cut into straight, angled, and therefore could be slabs of some building which once collapsed and something threw it away. Kingsley tagged the supposed alien and showed it to a colleague to ask his opinion and see if it matched her assessment. He approached, examined the whole picture above and the point to the point of the issue. and Kingley's colleague looked at her with a look that seemed to her to imply something. But perhaps it was her imagination, as her colleague told her that what she was seeing, namely the supposed crushed alien on Mars, was a mirage and nothing more. Something a bit like the play of light and shadows, something that the mind is made to see familiar elements where they don't exist. He explained to her it could be pareidolia. But she still had some reservations. She was not entirely sure. Indeed, it would not be that hard for her to admit that it was a hoax. But what made her doubt was the whereabouts of this strange object, the supposed overwhelmed alien. A landscape filled with what she thought were building surfaces and blocks with straight and right angles, possibly slabs, part of some Martian building scattered by a raging shockwave. The story is entirely a product of imagination and fiction, as are the names and the scientists mentioned here. Source of inspiration is the original NASA image from Curiosity, which can be viewed and visited. I'll leave a link below for you from Mars JPL NASA. So, it's your guess. We know that from the Emerald tablets of Thoth, written by Thoth the Atlantean, Hermes Trismegistus, some say that he was also Zeus of the Olympian gods, said that, and I have a playlist of those emerald tablets that I read for you. You can see the videos on the playlist. They had tremendous technology, but one of the things he claimed about Mars is one of the Atlantean generals was exiled there, and his tomb is to be found under a face on Mars, and his generals in his entourage were buried under pyramids next to the face on Mars. And we know the pyramids and the face are found in the Cydonia area of Mars. He says that the temperature, the climate on Mars was as it was on Earth, very nice and temperate. And scientists have found that some kind of an atomic blast must have taken place on Mars from the elements that they found there. And also has caused the reddishness of the soil because of that. So could these structures that we find, these ruins that we find, these artifacts that are on Mars that cannot at all be natural, be some kind of a destruction from that time? So, what do you think this is? I'll leave a link below for you. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.